And we worked it hard. I mean, we were passionate about it. We met people like you, people who had great personalities and good morals and good characters. And, you know, they were just real people, and we believed what they told us. And they told us if they can do it, we can do it also. And we dove right in, really not having any education on compensation plans and how they roll out and how they play out. And like a long story short, we worked that business to the point of bankruptcy.
Wow.
And it was devastating. You know, you take a couple in there, you know, by that time we were 28, 29 years old. You take a couple who, you know, rose to the top and then had to file for bankruptcy because it wasn't sustaining itself. You know, it was we were emotional wrecks.
Yes, sir.
We always believed in the industry. You know, we believed that there were examples of people in all of these companies who were making a tremendous amount of money. But up until then, we were taught to be like a racehorse and keep the blinders on.
Right.
And just look forward. And it wasn't until we threw in the towel that we took the blinders off and started to investigate what this industry was all about. And I'll tell you, it was an unbelievable education. 17 years. We looked at thousands of networking companies.
Wow.
I really focused on compensation plans. I wanted to know the difference between the stair-step breakaway and the unilevel and the matrix and the coded bonus and the Australian two-up. This goes on and on and on. And I figured out the philosophies and the, you know, the most of all the pitfalls with all those compensation plans. They all are designed, all of them are designed to create a few examples of people who make a tremendous amount of money, but it's normally done at the expense of everybody in the field so that the people who started the company can get rich.
Yep.
And then they would, you know, obviously stage the people who made the money and, you know, give people hope off of what they've done. And I didn't want that. I wanted an opportunity where everybody can make a tremendous amount of money, but everybody can make some.
Right.
You know, I wanted some examples of people who made some extreme money. And I considered at the time, $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month was like, that was like, you know, that was a lot.
Amen.
I wanted some examples of those, but I wanted to see a lot of people making at least $500 a month. You know, that's more realistic for most people when you look at the methods of network marketing. And so after 17 years of investigating these companies, you know, we had a way of investigating them. We stacked them up against 5 things that we knew, what we determined had to be in place where a company needed to score a perfect 10 in these categories. And I'll briefly tell you what they are. The company, the products, the compensation plan, the training and support, and the timing. And we made a commitment, my wife and I, who's on another Zoom call inside. That's why she threw me out here in the cabana. The lighting is a little dim. I apologize. I'm actually in my cabana right now. So we made a commitment that we would never engage in this again unless a company scored a perfect 10 in every single one of those categories. Because if they didn't, even if a company scored a perfect 10 in 4 categories and a 9 in the 5th, inevitably that shortcoming would rear its ugly head. But it might not happen for 2, 3, 4 years down the road, and you've just lost 2, 3, 4 years of your lives. Right. So we made a commitment to each other that we wouldn't engage again. And so, you know, after 17 years of looking at companies, we became very objective. We didn't allow any subjectivity to come into play. Our emotions were out. We just analyzed the companies. And, you know, we started to believe that in our lifetime, we wouldn't run across another legacy company, a company that had all the attributes to go on and be the next Amway or the next Herbalife or the next Nu Skin or the next Avon, companies that do multiple billions of dollars. And, you know, because they don't come along very often. I mean, let's face it. Most companies that start in this industry fail. 80% of them fail in the first 2 years. 1 in 1,000 makes it past 5 years. To my knowledge, only 7 have made it to $1 billion and have sustained that. Of those 7, I don't think any of them except Isagenix continues to grow in the United States. So it's very tricky and it's very complicated. And so when we were introduced to this, we were introduced to it because after 5-10 years of analyzing companies, people start to consider you experts in the industry, although you're sabbatical. You're not even participating in the industry. You just know how to build networks and you know how to analyze these companies. And so we took on a coaching client out of Chicago. His name is Bruce. And Bruce was a good old Chicago. He talked like this. He says, Herb, I got a real good opportunity, but I quite don't know how to do it. And I said, yeah, Bruce, you need coaching. Of course, I was just trying to get a client, but it was the first time we were exposed to Isagenix. And whenever we took on a coaching client, we felt a tremendous fiduciary responsibility to analyze the opportunities that they had. And so we went in and we looked at Isagenix, and I got to tell you, I couldn't believe what I was saying. I thought I was becoming a bit complacent with my analytical process, because it was scoring a perfect 10 in all 5 categories. And I've made a determination 5 years prior to that no company would ever score a perfect 10 in all 5 categories in my lifetime again. And so I went back and we did it again, scored a perfect 10, and did it again and scored a perfect 10. It was I'm telling you the story because it was a really scary time in our lives. And the reason why it was scary is because we had built this coaching business, teaching people how to build networks with whatever company that they felt that they loved. We can teach them how to build a network. It's not that difficult. But if we align ourselves with any specific company, then we would be actually relinquishing our generic status, which means our coaching business would go down the tubes. But we believe so strongly that Isagenix was that next company. And, you know, we threw our hat in the ring, and it was the best decision we've made. We've made about $16 million now in the last 9 years. And, you know, well over $50,000 a month. We're probably around $250,000 a month in income right now. Here's a nice part about it, Ron. Nobody knows what Isagenix is. I'm a firm believer that even the networkers out there think they know what it is. But until they're in the company, in the culture, they really don't have an understanding of what we are. We're different, no question. You know, you'll go to one of these events that they do, and you can't even tell who the people are that are making the money, because they're all intermingled. They look the same, and, you know, they're just nice, friendly people. Nobody has an attitude about them. And that's what I wanted. And so I remember the first time I met Jim Coover, it was after we started in the program, we started building, we made it to the executive level. Then we made it to, I think, 3 or 4 star. And we went to an event, and, you know, he asked me some questions and I answered him, and he looked me right in the eye and he said, well, you know what? It sounds like you've paid your dues in this industry.
Right.
Then he said, welcome home.
Wow.
So that's my story in a nutshell.
That's a good one. That's a good.
Herb, let me ask you something. Because, you know, and I know Ron was probably aware of Isagenix over the years. You know, I was aware of Isagenix over the years, watched Isagenix. Again, they were kind of the quiet giant a little bit. They continued to grow, yet, you know, never really was getting a tremendous amount of buzz around the industry, but just continued good, solid growth. What's the difference between Isagenix 9 years ago when you started and Isagenix today?
The big difference is now we're transitioning from a product story to an opportunity story. You know, for the longest time when Patty and I first got into the company, we built businesses based off of talking to people about the opportunity. We always told people we share the opportunity to get people to use the product. We don't necessarily get people to use the product to come into the business. We don't backdoor them. But everybody in Isagenix was doing that. That's how it was built. And so when we came to the table, Michael, you're going to see it now. You go to events and you're going to see there are not a lot of networkers around here, or not a lot of seasoned professional networkers, but they have great results because their philosophy works. It takes a little longer. When you're building bottom up, it takes a little longer. But when you start to transition to a whole company, building top down, that's when you see the explosive growth. And with the opening of the UK, subsequently Germany, and then the Netherlands, and then Korea, we're going to start to see a massive explosion. So what's taken us 14 years to get to, I believe we can double it within the next 36 to 60 months.
Wow. You know something, and it's interesting that you say that, Herb, because I draw the parallel, because Amazon right now, you know, Amazon basically did $800 billion in sales. And they're projecting that Amazon's going to do another $800 billion, double basically their revenues in the next 3 years. And you're seeing the manifestation of that because you're seeing the Macy's go out of business. You're seeing JCPenney's. You're seeing all these retail stores starting to go out of business. And what Amazon basically has done, you know, they've built their infrastructure, you know, over this time now they've started to do their international expansion. They've really positioned themselves to be able to now double their revenue in the next 3 years. And I really believe that Isagenix is the same way. And that's kind of why I couched that question to you, because what I saw was that Isagenix has now built up a foundation where they've got the tools, they've got the product line, they've got the resources, so that, and the fact is that roughly, I think 90% of their business is coming from the US and Canada. And we all know that in network marketing, you've got a tremendous opportunity internationally as well. So I really believe that they've got that foundation in place so they can double, if not more, in the next 3 years.
You're getting me a little fired up here. Let me explain that. Because all of us understand that. Like, we understand that. The masses don't.
Right.
So we've got to figure out a way continually to take, because that can be overwhelming for people to understand. So we've got to take away, we've got to figure out ways to consistently take a strong message like you just said and simplify it where it doesn't scare people. Because I'll tell you what, you're making me urgent right now. Like this urgency is bubbling up just through having this conversation. Because who are we? I mean, let's face it. I tell people this all the time. We became the #1 income earners in Isagenix years ago, and I've told people since that day, there are many, 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 many people out there who could do this a lot better than we can. A lot better. They need to hear about it.
Right.
It's exciting. You don't see a person like Ron coming to the table every single day. You don't. You just don't. But when somebody like you comes to the table, Ron,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. You might lose sleep at night once you get into the trenches and start doing this, because it's so doggone simple. It really is.
But let me also tell Ron another reason, kind of why too, and that is, Ron, I had a number of different opportunities to be able to align with different companies and talk to a lot of CEOs and so forth. But I also realized, and there's a lot of, as you know, shiny pennies out there that maybe have a little bit of a buzz in the industry right now. But the reality is, you don't know if they're going to be around 3 to 5 years from now.
Right.
And the thing that I liked about Isagenix is that I knew that basically it could be built here one time now, and the income would be such that it would take basically care of us for the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, and at this point in my life, that was important to me as well. Knowing that these guys are going to be in. So even when I flew into corporate, basically, and I met Jim and Kathy, and Jim is 70, who looks like he's 50, to be honest with you. And
Like
Kathy
me.
is tremendous as well. But, I also knew that these guys basically have, made a lot of money, and they don't need it anymore. They do it because of their desire to be able to help people. And Jim's got a very big vision for this company. I mean, a huge vision for this company. But also, their heir apparent is Eric, who's probably one of the most incredible 29-year-olds that I've ever met. So I know for the next generation, basically, this company is going to be around, and it's something that's going to be able to deliver, just like the Jimmy Smith story. Started at 74, and it's going to be 89 next year. It's made over $20 million, makes $2 million a year with this company. I truly believe that this is a company that's going to be around for the rest of our lives and for your children's lives as well. And so, it is something that you could build one time and know that you're going to get that residual income.
Yeah, and also know, Ron, you're going to have the support of us.
Man.
This call right now, on the Zoom call.
The $60 million team right here, man.
Yeah, well, this Zoom platform has really changed the game a bit. Mm-hmm. It really has. Mm-hmm. I mean, it allows people to not only hear but see. I want to see what Ron looks like. I don't just want to listen to you. I want to see.
Won't want to anymore, will you?
But it really has changed the platform, and we actually have these presentations on Zoom throughout our team with 300, 400, 500 people on them.
Awesome. That's great, man. Well, that's exciting. It really is. And Michael, he hit right where I'm at in the heart here. Okay. And that's who Judy and I are. And, and that's the thing. I got so many people that we love and care about, but I was so afraid to, and Chuck, you and I have talked about this. I don't want to put somebody, I don't want to get somebody tied up again and it goes away. I am so tired of seeing that happen in this wonderful industry that I love dearly, relationship marketing, you know, and but it goes away, and you get your people involved and it goes away. And boy, it's just like, man, I'm done with that, you know. And at 73 going on 52, I'm in a hurry. And I am in a hurry, and so we want to get this thing done, you know.
Ron, this one doesn't go away.
Yeah, hey man, I can see that.
It does not go away. In fact, it's crazy. I know exactly what you're saying. You get in these companies, they have these comp plans, they have end of the month qualification. Everybody gets all crazy at the end of the month just to make their numbers. They do ridiculous things to the people. And if you stop that activity, everything seems to cease. Mm-hmm. The saving grace that we have and what keeps it together and what keeps it going is that our products work.
Wow.
They're the glue. People love the products. They eat them. And if you know anything about health and wellness and nutrition, the more you engage in these products, you start to figure out that they've got all of the good and none of the bad in it. There's no hydrogenated oils. There's no high fructose corn syrup. There's no artificial sweeteners. There's no harsh stimulants. There's no soy protein. Instead, you have great undenatured whey protein, which means it doesn't undergo the pasteurization process. Our formulator, John Anderson, he's considered one of the top formulators on the planet. Awesome. He's never put his name behind any of the 2,000 products that he formulated for over 600 companies, because he always knew that these companies would take his formulation and start to substitute ingredients that were lesser expensive so that the margins would be better.
Wow.
And he didn't like that. And so Isagenix was the first company that he actually put his name on. And he's, you know, specific to us. And people use these products and they just fall in love with them, man. The average person loses 5 to 20 pounds of fat in their first 2 weeks.
Wow.
It's emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm down to 265, man.
I'm not going to ask down from what.
Highest it's ever been. It needs to go the other way, I promise.
Yeah. Well, if you're 265 right now, you'll probably be someplace in the vicinity of 220 within the next 30 to 60 days.
Judy will love that.
But 30 to 60 days, 220, that's 40 pounds.
Easy. All day long. All day long.
All day long. Wow. Good. Good. That's a good thing.
Well, Herb, Ron, did you have any other questions for Herb?
No, I am just, I've done some due diligence. Michael, I've watched you 3 or 4 times, and I know I hung my hat on the fact that you guys wouldn't be doing anything that wasn't right, for the family, and which we're part of. And so I appreciate that. And I couldn't get away from it. I tried every way in the world to get away from it. Okay, Chuck will tell you, I didn't answer his phone 4 or 5 dozen times. And I tried to just go the other way. And I didn't even say nothing to Judy for a while. All weekend long, I was like walking backwards, because I was like, golly, there's something here inside of me that won't let it go away, And then thank God for Chuck's persistence, and he and Pete. And so anyhow, and then Herbie told me all about you, and so did Michael. And so, it just, I said to Chuck, Michael, I said, I've been looking for the last 7 years, ever since 2010, to find something we could hang our hat on it, and I could never get a piece or a release from it, And so I got out of the relationship market, got into direct sales, and that's what I'm doing right now. But my love is relationship marketing, So with the team, I'm a team guy, Michael. You know that.
I know that, Ron.
And I hate being out there by myself. I don't want to be out there by myself. But with a team, man, I'm very coachable. And Herb, you've proved it. Michael's proved it. Chuck's proved it. And I'm coachable. You guys point me in a direction and tell me what needs to be done. That's what I'm going to do. I'm telling you right now.
Well, we're going to be here to support you also.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Definitely. And I assume you live in Missouri.
I live in southern Illinois. Now, we're from Chicago. We're 300 miles south. And on Interstate 57, but from St. Louis, we're only 115 miles. from the Missouri Bridge, where the Cardinals play, right there at that bridge. They can beat the Yankees anything.
Well, we can all get on a plane when the Cardinals fly into Yankee Stadium.
Well done. You get me into Yankee Stadium, we'll get you in the bush. How about that?
Matter of fact, the flight time from Charlotte to you is only going to be about an hour.
Really?
So, that's great. Short flight.
Well, hey, I thank you guys for your time. Thank you.
And Herb, thank you. I appreciate it, Herb. And I'm very, very confident that if Ron puts his mind to this thing and we start to work together, that you're going to see him as absolutely one of the leaders in the company. So
I think he's already put his mind to it.
Yeah, Michael, you can just keep talking. You have really inspired me, brother. Keep going.
Well, Ron, I know what you're capable of, and I want to see this. Basically, there's nobody that deserves to have the success, Ron, that you have, because I know that once you have the success, both again from a health standpoint and financially, that you're going to be blessing many, many, many others, and so that's. And I know that. So those blessings that you have, you will share with others and bless their lives. And that's what you're all about. And that's what we want as part of the team as well. So.
Well, that's us. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Michael.
Absolutely. So thanks, Herb. I appreciate it. Say hi to Patty for me.
I will, gentlemen. I'm going to go join her on her other Zoom call.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Herb.
Nice meeting you. Bye, Pete. Nice meeting you, Ron.
You betcha. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Bye, Michael.